Since the pandemic began, groups representing teachers have been outspoken about the concern educators are having about being inside schools. And after Governor Abbott's big announcement on mask mandates yesterday, they say concerns have just increased. Eyewitness News reporter Jordan Foster explains.
24 hours after Texas Governor Greg Abbott announced the state would be opening back up,
people and businesses don't need the state telling them how to operate.
School districts say they're waiting for guidance from the Texas Education Agency with how to move forward. In a statement, Northside ISD said, at this time, Northside ISD plans to continue with all of the safety protocols currently in place, including the use of face masks.
Teachers, education workers, at large are absolutely appalled at this recent move by the governor.
President of the San Antonio Alliance of Teachers and Support Personnel, Alejandra Lopez, says this is a move in the wrong direction. She's hoping the TEA's guidance remains the same as before, if not stricter.
I would say that they mandate that districts follow the safety protocols, right? So this includes mask wearing. It also includes that districts create learning environments where physical distancing of 6 feet is possible.
Today, the TEA announced they're leaving it up to local school boards to determine their own mask policies. They say they've also made updates related to surface cleaning requirements as well. Lopez says now that public mandates are lifting, teachers need to be eligible to receive their coronavirus vaccines before getting back into the classrooms.
Unfortunately, any kind of light that we saw at the end of the tunnel has just gone exponentially further because of these policy decisions that are being made. It makes the risk level higher for us in the community.
Jordan Foster, KENS 5, Eyewitness News.